So the war started the moment you was able to see through the narcissist. They lies, the contradictions, and what they told you. It kind of cracked the picture that you had of them. On one side, you loving the version that they showed you, and then on the other side, something just didn't sit right. Something was very untrustworthy about them. And maybe you said something, maybe you confronted them calmly, honestly, you just was trying to understand. And that's when it shifted, you know, the denials, they gaslighted you. Then they try to move the goalposts where they try to flip everything back on you. And if you kept on pushing it, it turned into straight chaos. Arguments didn't make no sense. The blame did not fit the crime. They probably got the police involved, start smearing your name, just this fake narrative, a full-blown escalation that just didn't sit right with you. And then you just sitting there thinking like, damn, like how did it get this toxic this fast? And most people miss the point of, it ended the way that it did because you unmasked them. It didn't have nothing to do with you being unworthy, or they just fell out of love with you, because they never was in love with you. They was in love with the supply, with the control, with the light that you walked with. The moment that you saw the truth, you caused a narcissistic injury. You shattered their illusion, something that they've always survived off. And once that mask crack, they don't heal. They go to war with you. It is wartime. You are dangerous to their illusion. And some people stay sleep to a narcissist their entire life. You didn't. You was able to see through the mask. That pain that you went through, that chaos, that is the cost of you seeing clearly, of you having that spiritual discernment that you have. And that is your awakening to who they are. That is the power that you have. You're able to see through the micro expressions. You are able to calculate every little gesture. You remember every detail, every lie, every contradiction. And they don't like that. You unmasked the demon that lives inside of them. So if you wondering why it blew up the way that it did, you didn't start the war. You just exposed the truth. And most people that unmask the narc, they don't just go on about their life and forget what they seen. Some people go sit in isolation and really reflect on what it is that they dealt with, or they are still dealing with. And the narc gonna blow it up. they are gonna cause a war so brutal, so toxic. They're gonna involve everybody eyes that is willing to watch. And the cost of you unmasking them is a smear campaign, is a humiliation ritual, is making you look like the bad guy or the bad woman. So you got to be prepared when you call out the narc, when you unmask this demon. You got to be prepared for what is to come, because they don't like for people to call them out. They don't like for people to see through their illusion, because this is something that they've always been able to hide. And sometimes the person that they create in their mind, they believe it. They kind of believe that this is who they are once they create it in that moment. They wake up every day having to perform, and sometimes they get lost in that performance. So when you crack this illusion, it shatters their belief system, and it kind of lets them know that they're not powerful like they thought they are. It shows them that you're really the powerful one, because they have been using this trick their entire life, and a lot of people cannot see through it. So when they noticed, when they first met you, they knew that you were powerful. They knew it. You walk with this light, but they had to make you feel less than, because they knew you were very powerful. And once you go silent, that's when they truly recognize your worth. That's when they truly know who you are and that you're not of this world, because they manipulate like no other. They do it more than the average human. And you were able to unmask them. That is the most powerful thing that a person can do, and the narc will never forget that. They never forget the people that unmask them, or that one person, because a lot of people don't do it. So don't be mad, don't be hurt, be thankful that you finally know what you're dealing with. You finally know how powerful you are, because as long as they trying to put you down, as long as they smear campaigning you, as long as they sending they flying monkeys and steady trying to hoover you, just know they need to feed off of your light. You are something rare, and they don't have the ability to heal and let you go, but they want to make you feel like they can let you go. That's why they deal with so many different people, different supply. They want you to feel like dirt. They don't want you to step into your true power, because the mission is to annihilate and distort your character, and for you don't know who you are, because you are the one.